Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. I'm back here at Land Rover of Clearwater, of course in Clearwater, Florida, and we have another 2020 for you. This is a 2020 Land Rover Discovery Sport. So let's talk a little bit about Land Rover. Land Rover, that iconic British brand making off-road vehicles before SUV was even a thing. Yes, they're no longer owned by a British company anymore. It's now a company based out of India. But one thing to be sure is that with Land Rover and Range Rover, there's still that connection to the past because all of their SUVs come with a very, very heavy duty, durable all-wheel drive system. And for 2020, the Discovery Sport gets some refreshing to it, especially on the interior, to really bring it into alignment with the rest of the lineup here at Land Rover. So let's go ahead and dive into this 2020 Discovery Sport. Right off the bat, you'll notice the smaller proportions compared to some of the other larger SUVs that are in their lineup. I do love what Land Rover does with their headlight design. Even on this Discovery Sport, you got full LED lighting with a very unique shape to their daytime running lamps. You work your way down, you do have functional air curtain venting on each of the corners. This little guy I'm gonna zonk. Why is this even here? I have no idea. I need to call up Land Rover, but definitely this fake vent doesn't even need to be there, so we're gonna zonk that. But we come across the front, that very iconic grille, the Discovery badge across the hood. I wish they would just emboss that into the hood and use a little black paint rather than these emblems. But you have a gloss black upper grille section with the Land Rover badge. We work our way down, a little bit of an open functional slot, and then we have more of a grille area down below. Once again, this is a little zonk filled at the front, the small one, and then these two are fake, so we are gonna zonk that, but you have a little bit of a gloss black lower lip spoiler. Doesn't extend much, but it gives it just enough balance. This is an all new gray color, so that's a very nice touch for 2020. Now going up onto the hood, very unique body line on each side. And then I like this rear portion of the hood. I just wish it was a functional heat extractor than just a decorative piece, but it does break it up. I think with the all blacked out look on this particular Discovery Sport, it really kind of just breaks it up, but yet makes a nice cohesive package. We come around the bend. What I love about Land Rovers is that there's no flat black around the fender openings, but this is the optional 20-inch wheel, gloss black. Love the shape. It's a 235 on the width, and you're looking at a wonderful 50 series on the sidewall. You can see the ventilated discs with the standard calipers on there, but it really just perfectly fits this Discovery Sport to a T. Now going down the fender, very unique how the hood aligns with the fender on many of the Land Rovers, but I do really like this additional touch here. It isn't functional, but it does break up what could be a very, very bland fender. One of the biggest mysteries that I'm still trying to scratch my head about is that this one has the R Dynamic package, which is a outside appearance package with some little doodads inside. Why do they put that all the way down there? It's kind of a weird placement for a badge, but okay. I think a lot of people might just like accidentally rub it off when they're cleaning their Discovery Sport. But we have blacked out mirrors, very, very slim and trim LED lighting, no roof rails or roof rack, just nice, very, very distinctive lines. Even the lower sill area, the way that it protrudes out, it gives a lot of character. And if you watch, one thing that I think is so smart is the way they take this crease and run it all the way down the whole side of the vehicle to the rear taillight housing. Little bit of gloss black, color matched, of course, door handles, and then a very, very nicely shaped and positioned rear quarter window. And I like the way they just gloss black this whole pillar. Kind of makes it look like one piece of glass. Out back, you have a very low roof spoiler. You'll notice, I'm gonna have Tom show you, this has clear sight. That is Land Rover's camera system that is conveniently mounted at the back of the shark antenna there. That is not the backup camera. Backup camera is totally separate from that. And then there's a nice spilling of some gloss black. You got your P250 badge, SE, with the Land Rover badge, very unique, just like the unique headlight housing, very unique taillight design, all LED. We work our way down. This fake vent which you know what we're gonna do. Yes, say it with me. We're gonna zonk this fake vent, but I do like the attractive rear diffuser. And then once again, what in the heck is going on? I think they spent more money on fake vents on this Discovery Sport than anything else. The exhaust is obviously tucked up underneath. I wish they just would have left it clean, but nice overall with the black and the gray. Let's pop the hood and see what's powering this Discovery Sport. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on the Discovery Sport. Now, underneath this hood and underneath this plastic cover there, which is not really the most attractive, but I've seen worse in my travels, is a inline-4 turbocharged engine, 2-liter, 246 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque. Now, you can get an EV boost with this, which would boost your horsepower, but this is how it comes standard from the factory. 9-speed automatic transmission. Of course, that full all-wheel drive that is so iconic with the Land Rover branding. When you're talking about MPGs, now I know that's always a big factor. You're looking at 19 in the city, 24 in the highway. What can I say? It's nice that they have added the Discovery Sport to the lineup, have made some changes for 2020, but let's go ahead, fire this one up and see what it sounds like out of those fake exhaust vents. All right, guys, we're inside the 2020 Land Rover Discovery Sport. I know you probably want to drag it out of me. How much is this? MSRP, the way that this one is optioned is around $53,000. Let's see what you get for the money. Now, to the door panels, there's a lot of dark material, but I'm actually digging the way that it's set up. I do like the leather on the armrest and wrapped all the way around that center section. A little bit of gloss black. I love the nice, almost like machined aluminum look to the door handle, and that speaker cover, very tasteful. You do have 3 memory settings on the passenger side. Now, when you get to the dash, soft material across the top, a little bit of gloss black, more of this leather with the stitching. I think the red contrast stitching hits the ball right out of the park. Infotainment system, 10-inch infotainment system. The problem with this, the challenge, is that you cannot tilt this. So glare, I'm already feeling could be a major issue. You have a lot of gloss black. Here's our start stop button, nicely placed with the stitching and whatnot. But this leather, it has a really interesting texture. It almost feels like a neoprene type setup. But we work our way down. You are gonna have, obviously, the ability to go through many different functions, including camera views and whatnot. There's our camera out the front. You could go into your navigation. There's our navigation, real easy to get to. As we toggle our way down, very minimalistic on the buttons. Now, what's interesting is, watch this. We hit the mode button, and now we could go into our different modes depending on what, and it shows up on the TFT display in front of the steering wheel. So you could see how you could adjust that. And if you need to go into AC controls, then we could adjust our blower speed and whatnot. So kind of cool the way that they have that set up to kind of minimize the amount of buttons, but there's a lot of glare coming off all this dark plastic. You do have wireless charging, and they have a USB conveniently placed there. This is going to control that 9-speed automatic. I like the leather. Very, very sleek with this silver, and then more gloss black. This is that neoprene material. Very interesting material. 2 cup holders, and then a nicely padded armrest. You pick this up, USBs. You got a 12-volt in there. Watch this. You don't like cup holders? Cup holders go away. Now you got a tray for breath mints. 1, 2, 3. You don't like the tray? You want cup holders? Very nice. Well, let's say you don't want any of it. So the great part is you can take the whole thing out, and now you got a big empty space in there. So that's the wonderful thing. And you could go from 1 Twinkie to now you can fit 2 boxes of Twinkies. But we're gonna have to go search for that cup holder thing, because I can't find it. It just disappeared. But we'll just put that back like that. Seats, they look like they belong in a sports car in a good way. I like them. The red stitching, the perforated center. I even like this rib design. It's got a nice texture to it. Of course, full electric on both passenger and driver. We have our Land Rover key fob with the British racing green color. Very nicely done. You have your buttons on the back. That's kind of crazy. I didn't drop that. I felt like it was going to fall out of my hand the way I was twisting it, but I made it happen. This one, like I said, does have the clear sight. Let me go ahead. I'm going to tilt this There's Big Guns McGee there. You want to make Big Guns disappear? Watch this. There we go. So beautiful. I mean, that is so crystal clear. It's like you could watch a TV show off of that. So if you mount a TV to the roof, you could actually have that watching your TV show, and then look, make it go away. Nicely done. Put it back on me. I look okay. But anyways, why don't you get over to the business side? I'll show you behind the wheel of this 2020 Discovery Sport. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Very interesting where they put the controls for window operation up high, and then down low is where they have the memory settings for the seats. What's interesting, with the door closed, it kind of makes it hard to get to it. This does have the R Dynamic package, which gives you a lot of niceties outside and inside, and with the driving. You want to move your seat around, real easy to do. Controls are on the lower side, but still very manageable. And I like the way there's a little bit of bolstering. I got plenty of headroom in here, which is great. Steering wheel, great size, great thickness. I like the way they take the silver trim all the way around the inside. Even the silver trim on the ends of the stalks for your windshield wiper and your turn signals. Nice touch. Where they missed the mark are these plastic paddles for the 9-speed automatic transmission. These things are more plastic than the G.I. Joes I used to play with as a kid. I think there was more metal in the G.I. Joes that I used to play with. But anyways, dash setup, it's got that wonderful TFT, large TFT display there. It shows your navigation, it shows your instrumentation. Watch this. I'm gonna hit that off-road, that mode button selector, and there is our Discovery Sport. And now we could go through the different modes. So you're feeling kind of grassy and gravelly. Look at that, it even shows the all-wheel drive setup there. That to me is what makes owning one of these fun. And you see what that says? Mud ruts. So this thing is fully capable. This is not just a car you're gonna drive to the mall to pick up a lot of stuff, and that's where we controlled it all nicely right from there. Does have a large heads-up display that even shows you the terrain and everything, which is really wonderful. But why don't we get to the back seat and see how your passengers are gonna be enjoying this Discovery Sport. All right, guys, backseat time. I don't know what type of voodoo magic that Land Rover does, but what's crazy is even with their roof line that looks very low on the outside, perspective is everything, because inside here, plenty of space. I'm 6 feet tall. Like I said, I didn't grow and I didn't get any shorter going from the front to back, and I still got plenty of headroom. I like the way the leather's wrapped all the way around. Nice pockets here for your iPads. Maybe you're using a Nook or a Kindle, or maybe you still got a MP3 player that you got tucked around somewhere. You could tuck it right in there and leave it in there forever. The rear AC vents is where it's a zonk for me, because it just doesn't look as good as what's up front. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the people up front, because what the heck is going on here? Plain Jane, but hey, they do work. And then you're gonna get lots of connectivity. USB, 12 volt, USB, so that's nicely done. It's just, I would like it to have a little bit more pizzazz. Now when it comes to the seats, they do slide, so you could take that to the bank. And they also do recline as well. Very nicely done. And then look, I found it. Here's our cup holder from the front. You could actually just have it on your lap, and then you could just like have your extra cups or extra snacks or whatever. If you need a place to rest your arm, there's a hard rock that's hidden. You could rest it here. 2 cup holders, but the reason why it's hard as a rock is this. Ah, look at that. That's an M&M tray if I ever saw one. Don't go peanut M&M, because if you do, when you close it, you're gonna have crushed nuts. And that is not a good thing. But why don't we go ahead and check out the cargo area. All right, guys, we're gonna open up that rear cargo area. I think one of the things that I love about the Discovery Sport is that everything is nicely centered. You know, there is the Discovery where everything is kind of switched over to one side. I know people that have OCD, it kind of blows their mind away, but they have some very fast opening rear tailgates, and it looks like somebody just piled everything in to the back of this Discovery Sport. But it has lots of options. This click and hang to hang your coat and whatnot. You got your floor mats and everything. You can see the amount of room we have. The nice thing is that guess what? We do have connectivity. Not only a 12 volt, but a USB back here. So you can jam out, lay down the back cargo area, go to sleep and jam out to some nice music to put you to sleep. And then we do have buttons. So unlike some of the other Land Rover products that we've seen on Rady's Rides, seats fold down, obviously not totally flat, which is kind of a bummer for me. That's let me down. I like flat seats when I'm moving things in and out, but you can see the amount of space. let's get to the best part, guys. Let's take this Discovery Sport for a spin. All right, guys, we're leaving Land Rover Clearwater. We're in the 2020 Discovery Sport. Seats are, I'm telling you, Land Rover does something where you think when you first get into the vehicle that the seats are going to be way too hard. They're actually not. They actually do a great job of supporting you without it being like you're sitting on a bed of nails. And I really, really think that that is super smart how they're able to get that done. I love the TFT display, clean as a whistle, clear as day. The heads-up display is also a very, very nice touch. Looking out across the dash, it's very, very open. The 8 pillars are pulled far apart. The back window's a little tight. The back window is a little tight, and if you have somebody sitting in the center, forget about it back there. You're not gonna be able to see anything, but hey, guess what? That's why we have clear sight. Now somebody could wear that sombrero or that 50-gallon cowboy hat in the back seat and sit right in the middle, and you can still see out the back. So if you have anybody that has a 50-gallon cowboy hat, then you definitely want to get the clear sight. But very, very smooth. Side mirrors are great. Let's see how she handles here into this right-hand bend. Look at that, nice and controlled. All-wheel drive, working great. At 9-speed, wow. You know what? That inline-4 turbocharged engine, it's gonna surprise you. The way that they got the gearing down in this thing, it's quite peppy. Quite peppy. Inside, not a lot of wind noise as to be expected, and I do like the material on the dash because it doesn't give you any type of glare. Going into this right-hand bend, the all-wheel drive, great turn-in. When you first put input in the steering wheel, it really reacts very quickly and keeps you handled nice and firm. And remember, there's not really a track setting for this Discovery Sport. I wish they would have something a little bit more aggressive if you are on actual asphalt, but still very, very capable and very compliant, which is nice. I'm getting good feedback to the steering wheel from the front end of the vehicle, and just overall, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how this Discovery Sport behaves. I think the bottom portion of the seat, it could use a little bit of bolstering, just to hold you in a little, especially if you are going to be doing any type of off-roading type driving in this Discovery Sport. This does have the automatic start-stop feature in the vehicle, and that's just something that, you know, you could defeat each time that you drive the Discovery Sport. But very, very smooth. The throttle response is great. Really enjoy overall the feel in this vehicle. All right, guys, pulling away. Throttle response is really nice. It's not real snappy, which is great. And when you get on it, it takes a second for it to drop down, but once the boost kicks in, you're really building up speed very, very quickly. Plenty of pep for everyday driving, and just overall, I like the balance of this SUV, because remember, it's not a lightweight by any means, but it is very nicely the way that they have it set up at each of the 4 corners. It's very balanced, and that makes it a more reassuring, capable, confidence-inspiring driving SUV. And the wonderful thing is that you're going to get some decent MPGs for this type of vehicle. Remember that all-wheel drive system is going to keep you planted, and if you need more power, there is that option to get some electric assist to give you more power. So that's the wonderful thing, is that there's lots of variety here. I'm just not digging the infotainment system screen, the way that it's positioned, but I do like it being a nice horizontal display. Really shows up great. I think instead of using that, I'm just gonna have it set up right in front of me on the TFT display, which I think most of the people driving this Discovery Sport are gonna have it set up that way. But hopefully this gave you a nice overview of the 2020 Discovery Sport. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up and get back to Land Rover of Clearwater, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another wonderful day here at Land Rover Clearwater. I definitely gotta thank Chris and Phil and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 2020 Discovery Sport. Some changes, some updates. I think it allows a lot of versatility, and it allows people to really pick an SUV that fits their lifestyle to a T. But if it's SUVs like these that you want to keep seeing on Rady's Rise, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee. He's going crazy now. He wants some peanut M&Ms. We're going to go ahead and hook him up. Don't crush your nuts, Tom. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.